It only takes this monster 3 seconds to kill a T-Rex, but he himself was killed by a fatal flaw. You read that right? That 2-meter high sailed on the Spinosaurus back was not for showing off at all. It was a deadly time bomb that could strike at any moment. In 2014, when scientists reconstructed the Spinosaurus skeleton, they discovered that this thing actually couldn't walk. That's right, the largest carnivorous dinosaur on land would fall over instantly if it tried to stand on the ground. What's even more bizarre is that its claws were 1 meter long, yet as brittle as glass. They would break after grabbing prey just once. But the most terrifying truth is, when paleontologists in Morocco unearthed 17 Spinosaurus fossils, all of them died in the same place. The cause of their death left all scientists in silence, because this apex predator was actually burned to death by the sail on its own body. But things were far from being that simple. An archaeological excavation in 2020 completely overturned everything we knew about the Spinosaurus. When scientists from the North African desert dug up that complete tail vertebra fossil, the entire laboratory fell into an eerie silence, because that wasn't a dinosaur's tail at all. It was a 1.2 meter long giant paddle, flat and wide, covered in dense bony spines. A research team from the University of Milan immediately 3D printed it and placed it in a water tank for fluid dynamics testing. The results made everyone gasp. The propulsion efficiency of this tail in water was a staggering 42 fontarem, higher than that of modern crocodiles. This means the instantaneous burst of speed for a Spinosaurus underwater could reach 35 kilometers per hour, while the human world record for swimming is only 9 kilometers per hour. The Spinosaurus could treat you like a stationary target. Even more terrifying discoveries were yet to come. Scientists used micro-CT to scan the Spinosaurus bones and found that its bone density reached 0.982, nearly as heavy as stone. This ultra-high-density bone structure is unique in the entire dinosaur family. Only 3 types of animals in the world possess similar bones: penguins, seals, and hippos. All are aquatic or semi-aquatic animals. This indicates that 95 million years ago, the Spinosaurus, in order to survive underwater, had already evolved its bones into ballast stones. The question is, if the Spinosaurus evolved for life underwater, wouldn't that giant sail on its back become a burden in the water? This mystery that puzzled scientists for over 100 years was not solved. Until 2023, paleontologists at Harvard University used computers to simulate the movement trajectory of the Spinosaurus in water, discovering that the seemingly cumbersome sail was actually a sophisticated biological stabilizer. When the Spinosaurus chased prey at high speeds underwater, the sail acted like a ship's keel to prevent the body from rolling or spinning, and when it surfaced, the dorsal fin, much like a shark's, could send a warning to prey within a radius of several kilometers. This territory has been occupied by me. Speaking of which, you must want to know exactly how the Spinosaurus hunted. The answer is more brutal than you imagine. In 2021, on the skull fossils of a Spinosaurus, scientists discovered in astounding detail its upper and lower jaws were covered in dense sensory pores. Numbering over 200, these sensory pores were connected to nerve endings, able to detect the slightest vibrations in the water. Even if a small fish was swimming 20 meters away, the resulting water fluctuations would be precisely captured by the Spinosaurus, and its nostrils were located further back on the top of its head, meaning it could act like a submarine, submerging its entire body underwater, while leaving only its nostrils out to breathe. It transformed into an invisible ghost in the murky river water, but the truly terrifying thing about the Spinosaurus was not its sensory abilities, but its method of killing. By analyzing the tooth structure of the Spinosaurus, scientists found that its teeth were conical, smooth on the surface, and lacked serrations. Its bite force was only 1/5 that of a T-Rex. These teeth couldn't bite through the bones of large prey at all, but it had twice as many teeth as a T-Rex. The upper and lower jaws totaled 126 teeth, arranged densely in 3 rows, like an iron fence full of nails. Once it bit the prey, these conical teeth would act like harpoons, piercing deep into the prey's body. The more the prey struggled, the deeper the teeth sank. There was no way to escape. Even more brilliant was the Spinosaurus hunting strategy. It never actively chased prey. Instead, it lay in the mud at the bottom of the river, waiting motionless. It could wait for hours or even a whole day. When an unsuspecting giant fish swam by, the Spinosaurus would suddenly launch an attack, using its 6-ton body, combined with its massive paddle-like tail, to accelerate to top speed within 1.5 seconds and slam directly into the prey. This impact force was equivalent to being hit by a small truck traveling at full speed. The fish would be stunned on the spot, and then clamped tight by those 126 nail-like teeth. From then on, it never had a chance to recover. That was North Africa in the mid-Cretaceous, a boneyard that drove all predators mad. In that vast river system swam giant lungfish over 4 meters long, and terrifying giant crocodiles with saw-like snouts. And on the banks lay the 12-meter-long Sarcosuchus, which could crush the skull of a small dinosaur in one bite. On land, there was also the Carcharodontus, whose size was comparable to that of a T-Rex. In this environment of titans clashing, the Spinosaurus was pushed to the brink. To survive, it made a radical decision: give up the land and turn completely to the water. The price of this decision was painful. To adapt to life underwater, the Spinosaurus' hind legs became shorter and shorter, eventually making up only 1/3 of its body length. It could no longer walk upright like other dinosaurs. On land, it could only crawl like a monitor lizard. With a top speed of no more than 5 kilometers per hour, slower than an elderly person walking. Although its front claws were 1 meter long, the bone structure was extremely fragile. Applying too much force would cause them to snap. Scientists performed mechanical tests. If a Spinosaurus tried to grab an adult crocodile with its claws, the pressure on the claw bones would exceed the breaking limit by 3 times. This means on land, the Spinosaurus couldn't even beat an adult crocodile. But in the water, it was the absolute king. A 2022 study showed that a Spinosaurus needed to consume food equivalent to 10 fontaram of its body weight every day. Based on a weight of 6 tons, it had to eat 600 kilograms of fish a day, equivalent to 4,000 carps. To maintain this staggering food intake, the Spinosaurus evolved a near-perfect underwater hunting system. Its eyes were located at the top of its skull, allowing it to observe the surface, even when its body was completely submerged. Its neck muscles were extremely well developed, allowing it to complete a 180-degree turn in an instant. Combined with that sensor-filled snout, even in completely dark, deep waters, it could still precisely lock onto its prey. After discussing all these advantages, now it's time to talk about its fatal flaw. Remember that sail mentioned at the beginning? The seemingly perfect product of evolution actually harbored a time bomb. A 2024 study discovered that the Spinosaurus sail was covered in a dense network of blood vessels. These blood vessels were directly connected to the heart. In the heat of North Africa, when the river temperature rose to over 35 degrees, the Spinosaurus couldn't hide in the shade like other dinosaurs because it had to stay in the water. And the sail exposed to the blazing sun would absorb heat frantically. Blood circulation would transport this heat throughout the body, causing the body temperature to rise sharply. What's even more terrifying is that once the Spinosaurus body temperature exceeded 43 degrees, its brain tissue would begin to suffer damage. Yet it couldn't fully submerge to cool down, because the sail was too large, creating massive resistance and buoyancy, making it impossible to dive deep. This explains the mystery from the beginning. Why 17 Spinosaurus fossils died in the same place at the same time? Scientists analyzed that fossil layer and found that 93 million years ago, an extreme heat wave and drought occurred there. River levels dropped, water temperatures soared, and the Spinosaurus trapped in shallow waters could not escape nor cool down. The sails on their backs became deadly heat radiators, spreading lethal temperatures throughout their bodies. Eventually, these aquatic overlords fell one by one, dying in the rivers they once ruled. But there was a deeper reason for the Spinosaurus extinction. It had put all its skill points into the single ability of fishing. When 93 million years ago, the global climate began to change drastically. Sea levels dropped, and that massive river system in North Africa began to shrink. The number of fish decreased sharply. For other predators, they could simply change their menu and hunt terrestrial dinosaurs. But for the Spinosaurus, this was a catastrophe. Its slender snout couldn't bite large prey. Its short hind legs couldn't keep up with agile small dinosaurs, and its fragile claws couldn't hold on to anything that fought back. It was like a gambler who put all his savings into a single stock. When that stock crashed, he lost everything in an instant. The last Spinosaurus likely lay on a dreed-up riverbed, gazing at the onsurishing waters, and slowly closed its eyes. From the discovery of the first fossils by German scientists in 1912 to 1944, when those fossils were all destroyed in World War II bombings, to the unearthing of new fossils in 2014, for 102 years, humanity's understanding of the Spinosaurus has been overturned time and again. We once portrayed it as an upright walking terrestrial overlord, only to find later it couldn't even stand steadily, we once thought. It was a Satanwit predator fishing by the riverbank, only to find later that it was a killing machine capable of high-speed pursuit underwater. The story of the Spinosaurus tells us that evolution is never a straight path upward, but a high-stakes adventure that gambled correctly and became the king of North African waters for millions of years. It also gambled wrongly, turning itself into a prisoner who could only survive in a specific environment. When the environment changed, it didn't even have a chance to adapt. This is the cruelty of natural selection. There are no eternal champions, only survivors who constantly adapt. If you were given a chance to travel back in time, would you rather face the T-Rex on land or the Spinosaurus in the water? Tell me your choice in the comments.